Alright guys, welcome to this video tutorial. So I'm going to be explaining to you everything you need to know about multiple time frame analysis. Okay, but before I say much about multiple time frame analysis, I'm going to just say one or two things about candlesticks. Okay, so let's just get to our trade view. Alright, so this is my trade view that's opened. Okay, alright, so let me just pick BTC so I can explain things to you. Alright, so let it load. Okay, so yeah, this is my BTC chart. Alright, oh sorry, let me find a different chart. Chart is 30. Okay, all right, so yeah, this is one chart I have here. All right, so let us look at it. I was saying, let me explain candlesticks. In order for me to explain these candlesticks, permit me to use a lower time frame so that we're able to see when the candlestick is forming very fast. Okay, so let's use the 1 minute candlestick. This particular coin doesn't have much. Okay, let me see the LTC. Okay, so I'm actually looking for a candlestick that has, all right, so I think this is perfect. Okay, so now I want you to see the formation of a candlestick so you to understand what I was talking about candlesticks. All right, so let's put our eyes fixated on this red candle. Remember I told you that candlesticks represent the volatility or the the selling or buying pressure of a particular coin at a particular given time frame. All right, so this is a 1 minute candlesticks, meaning each of these candlesticks represent a 1 minute interval. So you can look at the time at times 8:22. All right, so by the time it's 8:23, a different candle will be forming. Okay, so at this 8:22, whatever is happening within this 8:22 is represented on this current green candle that is forming here. Okay, so you're going to be looking at it what the price volatility, how the price movement is happening within that specific time frame. You can look at how it's fluctuating. Okay, so what did I tell you about candlesticks now? I said candlesticks has different anatomy. All right, we have the open, we have the close, we have the body, we have the wick. Okay, and then we have the high and we have the low. Now what is the body? Now the body is just this visible part you're seeing, this red or green thing you're seeing. Okay, that is just the body of the candle. And then what is the wick? The wick is the extension, just like I told you, it's like the shadow, more like a footprint. Okay, the coin was able to go there, but then it was not able to, the pressure was not able to sustain the coin at that particular level, so it retraced. Okay, so the wick can either happen below or above. Okay, you can see these two particular illustration. In this particular instance, the wick is happening, sorry, the wick is happening below. This particular instance, the wick is happening what, above. All right, so then what next? Okay, now let's talk about the highs and the low. What did I say high is? A high refers to the highest point at which a price or a coin was able to reach within that specific time frame. Okay, the highest point. So if you can look at this red coin now, better you look at this red coin and let's long click on it. This is it. Okay, the high at this particular coin, this is the high. That's the highest point, in as much as it's a week, but it means that is the highest coin, the highest point the coin was able to reach within that specific time frame. Okay, and then what is the low now? The low is what is the lowest point at which the coin was able to reach within that specific time frame. Okay, so if you can look at this particular instance now, it means that the what? Let me look at it. Sorry, it means at this particular point now. Okay, at this particular coin, the coin was able to reach this red one. Look at the coin I'm currently studying now. This particular red one I'm currently using to study. So I want to explain to you the high and the low. Okay, so look at this particular coin. Let's go and check where it started. This is the low. This is the lowest. That's $51.97. That is the lowest point I was able to get on this particular minute. Okay, so now let's go and look at the what at the upper, the high. The high is just the highest point at which the coin was able to reach. That is 51.99. Okay, so you can see the low is what is 51.97. Remember why the distance, why the difference between this particular price is small is because of when the 1 minute time frame. Okay, so because the 1 minute time frame, there's not enough chance for the coin to experience enough volatility before the next candle forms. That is why the price difference is not really that strong. Okay, so if you can look at it, so when I was talking about candlesticks, the candlesticks has different characteristics. We have different shape, we have different size, we have the by the length of the wick. Okay, you can go and watch the other video on candlesticks to understand all of this I'm saying, but then just look at the chart. You can discover that, look at the size. Okay, you can discover that this particular candlesticks, they're actually bigger in size compared to this one. And then look at this one, there's what is small. And if you can look at it here, the red ones are already what becoming bigger, and that is why the trend is changing. If you can look at it, the trend is already about what start changing, simply because of what the candlesticks are beginning to get the red candlesticks are beginning to get bigger. So that's to show you that what the sellers are beginning to get in control. On this particular place, you can look at what green candles are what are much more bigger. All right, so that's show you that what that's why it's in, what, in an uptrend. Remember I said the red candles represent the green candles represent those that are buying, and then the red candle represent those that are selling. Okay, so the size of the candle something should what you should look out for. Okay, I also talked about the size, and then look at it, and I also talked about what the combination. Okay, you can see it, you can see by the size is exactly what I'm telling you. You can see, look at it by the size, you can see the upward progression, show you that what the size is. That's why it, need to pay attention to the size of the candle, so you're able to know what to do at every given point in time. All right, so look at here now, the red candles are beginning to take control. That is why they are beginning to show more visibility. That's the green candles are beginning to lose their what their power. You can see it's written all over here. Look at it, you can see the red candles are beginning to get more obvious than the green candles, so the trend is beginning to reverse. All right, so now let's go and look at a recent candle that is forming. Remember I told you that for a green candle, the open is always down. Okay, like this particular candle now, this particular candle that is forming now. Okay, look at it, this is where it opened. That is what the starting point. Remember I said open is what is the starting point of that particular cryptocurrency asset. Okay, so let's be looking at it now. This, look at the time, 8:22. So I want you to focus on the next candle that's going to form. Let's look at the exact point at which it's what is going to form. Don't focus on this one that's currently forming now. You can see the price volatility. Exactly. Now look at the one that just formed. Okay, look at it here. Look at the candle that just formed. Okay, now where is the open now? The open is going to definitely be what? Be this particular point here, because this was where it opened first. You can see, sorry, this is where it opened first, but because of the pressure was too much, the sellers are already what pushing it down. Okay, because of the pressure is too much, the sellers are already what pushing it down, down, down. Okay, so that's exactly what we mean by what, by the open of a red candle. So had it been it was the sellers that were in control, as been it was the buyers that were in control, as it opened, it was going to keep on going up. But because of the moment it opened at this particular place, the buyers were in control. They were able to push the price downward. Okay, coming. Sorry, they were able to push the price downward. Sorry, let me see something. Okay, so that is just it. That is just all about candlestick. Then look at it now. You can see the lowest place at this particular point. Look at the lowest place it got to. Okay, you can see this candle. It was when it opened around here, the pressure was too much. So the sellers were in control. The sellers pushed the price to this particular region, but then they could not really sustain. They did not really have enough momentum to sustain it. Hence, the price was what returned back to the place that it opened. Okay, so that's just it. So the open and the close, for example, on this particular candle now, let me explain this particular candle now. Look at this particular candle now. The open was here. The open was here. The moment it opened that here, the sellers began to push the price downwards more. But then their power was not really that strong. Okay, they did not really have enough pressure to sustain the price at that particular region. Hence, the buyers came and pushed the price open. Okay, so in this particular point now, this was the open and then this was the close. In this instance, the close is the same thing as the high. Okay, remember I said the high is the highest point the candle was able to get at a particular point in time. Okay, then most of the times you discover that the high is represented by the wick. But in this instance, why the high is not represented by the wick is because of the highest point at which the coin was able to reach is the same position it was able to close. Okay, so that's exactly what explains what the high. Okay, so the same thing with the low. If you can look at other coins, maybe anytime there's no candlestick below, it means the low is the same thing as the lowest. Is the low is the same thing as the close. In this particular, look at it at this particular instance now. For this red one now, okay, this is where it opened, right? This is where it opened, and then this is where it closed. Meaning that what the close is the same thing as the lowest point that the candle was able to reach. Okay, so I'm just trying to run a quick recap on what candlesticks are. Okay, so you can look at it. Just if you want to understand the formation of candlesticks, feel free to look at 1 minute so you'll be able to see how the candlestick is forming. Okay, all right, so I think that is just all. Now let's look at multiple time frame analysis. All right, so before I say anything about multiple time frame analysis, I'm just going to give you a story and illustration. I want you to follow me, and then you're going to understand what I was saying. Okay, so now multiple time frame analysis is just simple, because as a crypto trader you need to see how you can, they call it the top down analysis. Okay, you start conducting analysis from a higher time frame. I already explained what higher time frames are. Okay, so these are just the various time frame we have. So you can see on TradeView we have the 1 month, the 1 week, the 1 day. So each of these things have their candlestick, have their chart. Okay, so this is the 1 week, this is the 1 week, this is the 1 week time frame, right? This is the 1 week time frame. Okay, so you can look at this is the 1 day chart. Okay, so I mean each of these candlestick represent a 1 day interval. All right, so you can look at this in this particular candles, in this particular instance, each of these candlestick represent a 1 minute. This place they represent a 1 week. Okay, this place they represent a 1 day, Each place they represent a what, a 4 hours. That's each of these can represent a what, a 4 hours interval. So each of these different analysis can be used to conduct a varying range of analysis on their own. Okay, they can be used to what, to conduct a varying range of analysis. But then how do you do it? That is where the idea of multiple time frame analysis come on board. Because you might be asking, sir, which time frame should I use? Now you need to use all of them. You need to start conducting analysis from top to bottom. Okay, let's call it what, the top down analysis. Okay, now let me give you an instance now. Like I said in the other class now. Imagine you want to skydive, you have your parachute, and then you want to go to America. Then you enter a plane, then the plane started flying, and then the plane got to a very, very high altitude. You agree with me that in as much as the pilot has confirmed that you're over America, you cannot jump from your plane from that high altitude, even if you have your parachute. Why? Because the moment you jump from there, several factors might make you not to reach your destination. You might not be able to, you might not land in America simply because the plane is excessively high. It's possible that the wind at that particular level might push you up, or probably you might not have enough oxygen, or something might happen, and then before you get to America, you have shifted to a different country entirely. Yes, you have confirmed, that is with the higher time frame now, from the higher perspective, from the higher horizon, you have confirmed that you're at America. Okay, but then it is not a safe spot for you to jump. It is not a safe spot for you to enter. So what does the pilot need to do now? The pilot need to step down in its altitude. The pilot need to what, come down a bit in order for you to get a clearer picture of where you're going to jump at. Okay, yes, in the higher altitude, the pilot has confirmed that you are over America, but then you cannot jump simply because of what, it is still high. Okay, so you need to what, step down a bit. So the pilot is going to reduce in its altitude. But when as the pilot is reducing its altitude, is it at every altitude you're going to jump? No. Because of course there are distances. So if the pilot steps down a bit, if the altitude is still not favorable, you cannot jump. Okay, you cannot. If the altitude is still very, very far, and then you just go, okay, at this particular point, the wind and everything is still much there, you are not going to jump. So the pilot needs to keep on getting down until you get to a particular point that is what, that is favorable for you to jump. Okay, that's exactly what multiple time frame analysis is. That's just like, look at the 1 week, like the highest altitude, and then look at yourself like the skydiver. Even as much as the highest altitude is there, okay, this is what the market is doing, but you can't use that information there. It's just giving you what, a broad picture of what the market is doing. But other particular instance, you cannot use that information to trade. You cannot use that particular information to enter a particular asset. Okay, you need to actually wait for what for you need to actually get a much more clearer entry point. And how do you do it? You need to step down in your time frame. So from the 1 week, look at the 1 week now. The 1 week is going to be telling us that, okay, this is what the coin is doing. Okay, look at it. This is what the coin is doing. Sorry, let me. Okay, you can look at it. Look at the 1 week. The 1 week is showing us what, but this is just the few candles that we have on the 1 week. This is what the 1 week is telling us. Okay, we're in a downtrend. Okay, but we're in a downtrend now. You can't really say much about this downtrend because of there's very, very limited candlesticks. Like the candlesticks are not even enough for you to base your conclusion on it. All right, so what are you going to now do next time? You need to step down. Okay, that's when we now go to the 1 day. Remember I said the pilot needs to step down in order for you to get a favorable point to jump in. Okay, so by the moment you step down, you can see now that let me tilt my screen so you can be able to see all I am saying. Okay, so you can see it. Remember now, in this, let's go to the 1 week. I want to show you something. Okay, now look at the way you're beginning to make sense of the data. Okay, but then look at the 1 week. Can you be able to see you can't see you can't see any structure simply because of what, there's less information there. Yes, you have confirmed the movement of the coin, but then there's not much enough structures for you to be able to plot your movement. So you need to step down a bit. Okay, so look at it here. With what we have stepped down. Okay, so this is it now. If you look at it now, in as much as I said the 1 week did not really present us with much information, right? Look at the 1 day time frame. Okay, you can see it already. The 1 day time frame now provided us with much more clearer information on what to do precisely. Okay, but then if you're a crypto trader, you understand that even the 1 day. Sorry, let me delete all of these things. Okay, so if you're a crypto trader, even the 1 day is, in as much as it's also giving us a much more clearer picture, we cannot be able to do anything simply because it is still large. Okay, it is still very, very large. So we need to step down again, and then that is why we need to go to the 4 hours time frame to be able to get a much more better view of what the market is doing. Remember now, okay, let's go back to the 4 day. Now look at the 4 day. Now from the 4 day, can you be able to see in as much as look at it, I've been able to identify some certain point too, but then this point are still big. I cannot be able to base my conclusion based on this particular point. Okay, so I need to step down a bit so I'm able to get a favorable entry point. Okay, so now look at it as I've stepped down a favorable entry point. That's when I'm able to see what the market is actually doing exactly. It's just like zooming in. Okay, remember, if you want to actually get a favorable point, you need to learn how to look at the best point for you to enter. Not every point you just stand up and you want to go enter. No, you need to find the best entry point. Okay, so if you can look at now, I'm beginning to get more information on the chart because of what? Because of I'm able to zoom in, I'm able to do what? A top-down analysis. Okay, that's what you need to do in the higher time frame. It's going to help you to see the overall movement of the coin. Okay, and then as you start coming down, it's now going to show you what? A clearer picture of what the market is doing. All right, so this is it here. Now I've come down to the 4 hours. Now from the 4 hours, I can be able to start doing one or two analysis. Okay, so if you look at some of the lines I was doing, I was able to identify the megaphone pattern. This pattern you're seeing here is called the megaphone pattern. But trust me, don't worry, just observe the megaphone pattern, right? Let's go to the 1 day time frame. Whether you can, let's go to the 1 week time frame and see whether we can see the megaphone pattern. You understand what I'm saying? Now look at it. From the 1 week, you cannot see it. In as much as the 1 week has told you, okay, this is what the market is doing. But can you see the megaphone pattern? You can't see it. That's because there's limited information. Now let's go back to the 1 day. Even on the 1 day, you won't be able to see the megaphone pattern clearly. Trust me, by the time you look at it, you won't be able to see this megaphone pattern clearly. Okay, you won't be able to see it in as much as it's because of I've already drawn it before. That's why you're able to see it here. But I can tell you, if I haven't drawn it, you won't be able to see what the exact pattern that is forming at the megaphone pattern, at this particular pattern. So what do you need to be able to identify exactly what the market is doing? That's when you want to step down a bit. Okay, so it's as we step down that we're able to see a much more clearer picture. Are you seeing it now? It's as we step down that we're able to see what? A much more clearer picture of what the market is doing. Okay, so with our support and resistance. If you can look at it at this particular point, I began to identify at this particular point. I began to identify my support. I began to identify a support and resistance. Look at it here. I began to identify a support and resistance. Now let's go and check if we can identify the support and resistance on a higher time frame. Let's go to the 1 day. You can see the one, it's not really visible like that. Okay, in as much as it's there, but that's because I've already drawn it. If you go to the 1 week, it's worse. Okay, so in as much as the 1 week has told you, you're not going to see any information there. You get that is the importance of multiple time frame analysis, top-down analysis. Okay, it's going to give you the top-down, the higher time frame is going to give you a clearer picture of what the market is doing. Okay, but for you to know exactly what the market is, you need to keep on coming down, until you're able to see with exact structures that the market is doing. Okay, so let us step down a bit. This is our 4 hours. Okay, so this is from the 4 hours I was able to identify my support and resistance, something I could not really do in the higher time frame. Okay, so this is exactly what you do with lower but this is exactly how multiple time frame analysis helps you. Okay, so if you can look at it, this particular the price is already coming to respect my resistance. Okay, let me just extend this line. I believe you already understand the importance of support and resistance. Now you can see it because I've already identified this particular zone. It won't be a surprise for me to see that this coin. The moment I see this coin break out from this particular region, I was able to know that the next point to get to is this particular place, simply because I would have been able to draw my support and resistance in the first instance. Okay, so that's just the beauty of cryptocurrency. That's the beauty of top-down analysis. All right. So the moment you keep on practicing, you're going to understand the importance of top-down analysis. Okay. So I even think that let me go and use another example again, so you can understand better what I was trying to say. Okay, this is it. Okay, so if you can look at, based on the analysis you did yesterday, I think the coin is already going. I think we did this analysis yesterday, but then let me just hide everything here so that you can understand what I'm trying to say. No, let me just leave it and let me just delete what I need to delete. Okay, now what should I delete now? Let me hide this one. No, sorry, let me hide something so that it doesn't hide. Okay, so this is it. Now let us start from a higher time frame. Okay, so let me delete all of these things so that it doesn't really distract us. Okay, now I want you to focus on let's start from the higher time frame analysis. Higher time frame. Okay, so this is our higher time frame now. Okay, this is our high time. I was just trying to observe, forget all of these blue lines. I was just trying to show you what the support and resistance of a particular coin. Okay, so you can look at it at this particular instance now. The upmost blue line you're seeing is what is like the resistance, the topmost resistance. So I was able to identify another resistance again. I was just drawing. Okay, so I was able to say, okay, this is what the market is doing. Okay, this particular line you're seeing here. This particular line you're seeing here is the last support I should be looking for the coin to relax on, because of this particular area of value. Okay, because of this particular area of value, I was able to say, okay, this is my support. Okay, so we cannot do anything here, so let's step down a bit. Okay, so the moment we began to step down, we began to see, remember when we're in a 1 week time frame, we could not even see what was happening here. because this is, remember now we said everything about cryptocurrency, you need to work with recency, because you're not going to enter the cryptocurrency in the past, okay, you're going to enter what's happening in the future. So this is where you're going to what concentrate upon. But then can you see anything that's happening there? No. So you need to what go down a bit. Okay, so let's go down to the 1 day time frame. Okay, so from the 1 day time frame, we're still able to see one or two things. Okay, we're still able to see one or two things, and then this is what we're able to see. Okay, sorry, let me hide. I needed to hide all of these things so you'll be able to see. Okay, sorry, let me hide it. Okay, so this particular point now, we're able to say, okay, this is what the market is doing. Okay, so if this is my 1 day time frame now, even my 1 day time frame, I cannot really say much things, okay, because it's not really that clear for me to see exactly what the market is doing. Okay, I've already from just because of I'm already used to it, I can tell you that okay, at this particular point, the coin is currently trying to retrace, but that's because I've already been used to the coin. But how do you now get your assumptions properly justify? You need to go down a bit. Okay, so let's go down to the what. Remember now, I'm starting from from up. I'm able to start from up to see what the market is doing, and then I'm gradually going down. Okay, so if you can look at now at this particular point now, I can tell you that we have started seeing what the market is doing. Okay, so at this particular point, what do you need to do now is to start identifying our areas of support and resistance. Okay, remember I already told you about areas of value. Okay, so let me just draw my support and resistance quickly, and then let's see. Okay, so I've identified some areas of value here, so I'm just going to draw something here like this to indicate my areas of value. Okay, so this is one. Okay, I'm able to see another area of value here too. Remember, this is an area of value. It's from here we're seeing it, so you can start from here and start drawing it. Okay, you can see F31. So this is my support. So let me also draw another one again. Remember now, these areas of value, they are what is. I'm just trying to identify all my areas of value, because like I tell you, areas of value are very important. Okay, they are very important. Okay, so you can look at it. Let me change the color of this one, so it's this color. Okay, so this is it. So now if you're to ask me now, I will tell you pump and clear that this. Let me also change this one now. Let me also change this one to ash 2. No, let me see, I'll be able to call them by names. Okay, so now this blue one now that you're seeing now, this for me now, if you ask me now, based on this 4 hours time frame now, my main support and resistance is what is this ash and this one and this blue line. Okay, why am I saying this ash and blue line? Because look at the movement. Okay, it has come here to retest here, and it has gone up here. Okay, so what are we expecting? I'm expecting this coin to come down here. That is from the higher time frame perspective. Okay, that's from the 4 hours time frame perspective. Let's look at it from the 1 day perspective too. Okay, so you can see it from the 1 day, right? So I was supposed to actually identify this thing from the 1 day, but then I just went to do it at the forward. So from the 1 day now, you can identify, okay, this is our support and resistance. Okay, we have gotten our first area of value at this particular point here, and then this next one at this particular point here. Okay, but then we cannot just conclude our discussion based on what we just see, and we need to step down to see what the market is actually doing at this particular point in time. Okay, so this is what we are seeing here. All right, so this is it. Okay, you can now agree to me, okay, that something's actually happened. Now if you look at the 1 day time frame now, you'll not be able to see what is happening here. Look at it, you cannot even see what is happening at this particular point. Okay, but the moment we went down a bit, you're able to see what was happening there. Okay, you can see it now. This is what was happening. So you can look at it formed it formed like a mini support and resistance inside the bigger picture. Okay, inside the bigger picture, it formed a smaller picture. Just like what I told, when I was explaining about local government, you'd agree to that sometimes the federal government can give a law that supersedes both the state and the local government. That is what the higher time frame is. Okay, so in the higher time frame now, since you need to put your eyes on the bigger picture, because the bigger picture overrules whatever the smaller picture is saying. Just like the federal government has more influence on the state government. Okay, so if you can look at it now from this particular point now, you'd agree with me that let us start from here now. In as much as this was the picture. Okay, let's start from here now. Let's start from here. Okay, let's start from here now. Let's remember now, I said the blue one and the ash one are my major areas of support and resistance. But let us look at what is happening in between these ones now. Okay, let's look at it now. In between this line, we have small reactions here. Now let me go and analyze what is happening here to see if it can give us any information on what is most likely to happen in the market. Okay, so let me go down a bit so that I'm able to see a much more clearer picture. Okay, so at this particular point, you can see that I already have some areas of value. Okay, let me just identify the areas of value again. And this is the importance of topic. From here, you have an area of value here. I want you to pay attention to what I'm doing here now, because what I'm doing here is going to determine to a large extent how you're going to make money in cryptocurrency. Let's use red. Okay, let me also draw another one again. I can see several areas of value. Okay, I can see another area of value here. Okay, so which color should I use for this one so that it's visible enough? Okay, let me use green. Okay, now look at it. Even when the coin got to what, remember now I said the blue. Remember, let me scroll down now. This big blue now is my what, it's my resistance for the higher time frame. Okay, it's my resistance for the higher, don't it's my resistance for the what, for the higher time frame, and then the yellow is my support for the what, for the higher time frame. But in the moment I went down a bit, I was able to understand that something is already happening inside the market, inside the what, inside, even inside the higher time frame, something's already happening. Like, look at it here now. Look at what is happening here. The coin has what, gone up here, came down, and then here became what, we have a what, a minor resistance forming, a minor support forming inside the main trend of the market, and then what, it went up again, and then it came down again. So it came down again, and what I tested. So if you can look at this, look at this particular point as well. So it means that what, this particular place was able to hold. Okay, that's why it's what it formed. Just like now, what they look. Let's take this particular trend I just formed now. This red support, this red support I just did here. Take this red support and this green resistance as a what, as the state government inside the local government. Take the initial blue. Okay, let me scroll down. Take this initial blue, but this blue and yellow as the what, as the federal government. I'm trying to tell you about I'm trying to explain multiple time frame analysis. Okay, this one we formed it from the what, from the 1 day. You can look at it from the 1 day chart. It is a clear what, support and resistance. Are you seeing it? It's a clear support and resistance because we have our area of value. We have an area of value here, and we have one what here. So it's what, our clear support and resistance from the what, from the higher time frame. But then we cannot conclude based on it. We have to step down to see what is happening in the market. So we went down to as low as what, as the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so from the 1 hour time frame, let's say this is what, this is the federal, the state government. The state government is inside the what, the federal government. Now look at it. When the coin broke out here, it got to this particular point. That's this now I'm trying to work with the state government. This my red support and this green resistance are what, are my state government. So when the coin broke out from here and entered here, then the overall picture that the federal government say no, let us go down. So the thing began to go down now. It has met another point of what, of resistance here. Okay, so that's this person resistance now is like the state government trying to create its own policy. The state government now say it's okay, let us go up. Okay, then the moment they started going up, they got to a point whereby they were supposed to go up again. But because of the federal government has already given an instruction that, okay, I want this coin to go up, it has much influence over the decision of the state government. Okay, it was able to still overrule the state government, and then it came down again. But as it was coming down, the state government wanted to do shakara again, wanted to say no, sir, we want this thing to go up. Then they tried. Now look at, they tried going up again. I want you to just pay attention. You see what, there's a slight rejection. Okay, there's a slight, look at it, there's a slight rejection. It came down, and then it's going up again. But then still, what, the power was what, was very, very strong. The influence of the federal government was really, really strong. Hence what, the breakout. You can see at this particular point we had a breakout. Okay, you can see the coin breakout from what, from the support of the state government. That is to tell that what, that the higher time frame has strong influence over the what, over the lower time frame. Okay, it has much influence over the what, over the lower time frame. Okay, so let's go. You can see because of why this thing is actually going down is because of, remember, we already have other people, like the state government has already said we want this thing to go down, but because of the federal government has already had much more stronger influence over it. It is already what, it's using its influence to push the coin downward. You can see after the coin has touched this particular, let me zoom in. You can see after the coin has what, sorry, after the coin has went up, it now did as if it was not going to come down. That's because of the influence of other the lower time frames. But because of the lower time frame does not really have enough say where the higher time frame is. Look at it. Last the coin, after doing a lot of shakara here, it is finally what, coming down. It's finally coming down to respect what the federal government is saying. So the moment this coin gets to this particular point, then we can be certain that okay, it's about to probably start going up again. Okay, so that's exactly what the time frame does. The higher time frame always overrules over the lower time frame. Okay, so let us look at it. Okay, so you can see our state government was invalidated. Okay, so not as much as they tried, but then their power was not still strong, and then they lost it to the control of the state government. And let's look at another government decided to start in shakara again. Let's say the state government came on board, and the state government was able to form another resistance here. Okay, form another support here. Which color should I use for this particular one now? Let me use, so I'll be able to explain it better. Let me use purple. Okay, this is purple now. Now look at it here now. The moment the price began to break out, okay, the price began to break out, okay, it was going out here, and then the local government say, no, we don't want, take us up. Then they began to go up again. Then as they began to go up, because of the federal government has already ruled over the state government, the state government was submissive. They could not just agree with the local government and allow the price to keep on going up. So they already were forming it. They already were succumbing to the instruction of the federal government. So the price of the coin was pushed down again. But then the local government say, no, it has do for us that this coin can already go down again. Okay, so you can look at they started forming a resistance at this particular point. Hence they push the price upward again, trying to see if they can give postulate a policy that's going to make them go up. But then because of the state government has already lost to the federal government, that's the lower time frame has already lost to the higher time frame. Remember, this lower time frame is saying we should go up, but because of the higher time frame has already said we should go down. That is why you need to learn how to do a multiple time frame analysis. Have a broader picture of what the market is saying. Because if the higher time frame are saying we are going down, it's most likely that the coin is going to go down. Okay, so even if the lower time frame are saying we should go up, go up, go up, for the fact that the higher time frame has already given an instruction that we should go down, it's most likely going to obey the higher time frame, because the higher time frame gives more certainty. Okay, so you can look at it now from this particular instance. Now the coin went up. Now it went up, but then since the state government has already submitted to the federal government, the local government was unable to break through this resistance that the state government has already faced. So you can look at now this red line, which was previously a support. Look at it. It was a support at this particular point in time. The support here is now a resistance at this particular point. Okay, let me change something. Look at it's now a resistance at this particular point. That is because of what the state government has already lost to the federal government. Okay, so now this particular point now, the federal government, the state government has not, the local government cannot do anything. In as much as they were able to go up here. The state government say no. They came down obeying the federal government. The state government, the local government said no, we're not going to do it again. We don't want. We want this to go up. Now they went up again, and then the state government still rejected them, all because of the instruction of the federal government. Hence they came down, and because of last they have tried their best. Their power was still not strong. They were able to break out at this particular point. I seen it now. They're able to break out. That's we will tell, okay, last they've submitted to the federal government, because the federal government controls their affairs. Okay, so if you can look at it here, it has break out from this particular region. So what are we now expecting? We're expecting to come down to the final position now. Okay, so this is the point whereby we're expecting a reversal from this particular point now. Okay, so this is the point whereby the federal government will now decide if we should this is the point whereby the federal government would either decide if we should continue rolling upward or we should break down. So if the federal government cannot be able to hold this particular place now, it means that the the world power, this federal government is just like a national. The international bodies like USA has now affected it. Okay, so now if you want to know whether the US if you want to know whether the yellow line is going to break, you need to go and look at the higher time frame. Okay, if you want to know actually whether this yellow line is going to hold or not, you need to go and look at the higher time frame. Go and look at the higher time frame. Is there any major support that is below it? Okay, remember I said this is let's go down a bit. Okay, remember we are talking about the yellow. If you can look at it, apart from the yellow time frame, we also have another support that is down. Okay, you can see the picture of all of these things. So if the now this one that is down now is should I say is let's call it the international government. Okay, the US is the one that has more control over the federal government. You get. So if they say they want this coin to go down, because look at it now, based on this support and resistance. Now I want you guys to actually follow me so I'm able to understand this very well. Look at this one now. It came down here. They formed a resistance here. It went up here. They formed the resistance here, and then now they are based on law of support and resistance. They're supposed to push this price down here. Okay, so based on this particular support and resistance now, the international body is actually expecting the price to come down here. Are you seeing it now? So even when let's go down now. I want to believe you're getting what I'm trying to explain here. Okay, so by the time you even go down safe, if you can look at in as much as the federal government is saying that the federal government already created a series of support and resistance at this yellow place now. You can look at it at this particular yellow place. At this yellow place here, you can see the federal government is already the federal government is saying that, okay, we are most likely going to reverse at this particular point here because of it is my support. But trust me, we are the bigger market. Let's go back to the bigger market. The bigger market is telling us that no, we still need to come down a bit. Okay, so that's the more reason why you should be skeptical on whether this yellow line is going to hold. Simply because of the bigger market, the higher time frame is telling you that there's still another support you need to go and test. Okay, So you need to have a picture of the spot of the higher market so that you don't really go and be taking some kind of impulsive decision like that. Because I honestly speaking, you need to look out for breakout strategy. Even if, let's go to the lower time frame, even if this coin was to test this lower line, do you just enter the market and say, I've gotten to a support? No, you don't just enter. Okay, in as much as the thing might, just like you see, just like the state government and the federal government was able to, the state government and local government were able to resist a bit. The federal government might try to resist the international body, but if the international body's force is still strong, because remember we said the international body is speculating that the price of this coin gets to this particular level. Okay, in as much as the international body is saying that this particular price is going to get to this particular level, the federal government might still do small shakara. They might try to just do small resistance before continue the rallying upward. So be very, very skeptical about entering this particular trade at this particular time. Okay, and of course you're actually a sports trader. Okay, so your aim is to buy low and sell high. Okay, so you need to just at this particular point you don't need to risk your funds. Okay, just observe and look at whether there's going to be a breakout structure. So the moment this particular coin gets to this part, the moment the price action gets to this particular place, you need to look out for a breakout structure at this particular point. And this breakout structure is going to tell you if actually this particular coin is going to hold, if the price is going to hold or not. Okay, so the moment you look at and then there's no any serious breakout structure, then have it at the back of your mind that the federal government has to some extent resisted the higher, that's the higher time frame. They have resisted the international body. I want to believe you're getting the illustration I'm making. Okay, but the moment you watch this video and then you still don't understand it, but reach out to me and then I'm going to explain it for you further. But then I tried as much as possible to explain this concept using real life situations that are going to be much more easy for you to assimilate. Okay, so the moment this particular coin gets to this particular level, like I said, what you just need to look out for before entering a trade, in as much as it's a support, and remember we're supposed to be buying at support. Okay, but then you need to be careful because of, in as much as it is a support here in the higher time frame, it is not really a support. It is the middle. Look at it. If you look at the higher time frame, it is it's at the middle. You can see, so there's still possibility that's it is going to fall. Look at it. We still have a main percentage. Sorry, we still have a main percentage for it to go down. We still have about 17% down. You can see it. We still have about 17% down. So it's most likely that if you're going to buy, if you're impulsively just buying at this particular region, you're most likely going to see a dip. Okay, to this particular region, and then it's from this particular region that I can become very comfortable with buying the cryptocurrency as I'm going to be expecting to head up backward. Okay, that's just the idea of multiple time frame analysis. Okay, it's going to help you see the general picture of the market. So you can see from here we already have a support and resistance already, but then the moment we kept on going down, we're now seeing much more clearer pictures that are happening inside. Okay, so from this inside now we're able to identify the local government, the state government, and then the federal government. So yeah, this particular price is about to test the federal government. Okay, so the federal government shows signs of weakness and maybe the breakout structure is very obvious, then have it at the back of your mind that this coin is going to maybe if there's any resistance here, is going to break. Okay, so that's exactly how you use multiple time frame analysis to conduct your analysis. Okay, I'm not expecting you to just get this in overnight. I'm not expecting you to just get it immediately. No, in the last video I recommended some YouTube channel for you to go and check. Please invest in self-development, study on your own. Okay, I can do my best. Like, I know that there's nobody that's going to ever explain this thing like this. Nobody. I've watched thousands of videos and then nobody was able to explain this thing like this. But I try as much as possible to understand this so that I can be able to communicate the idea to you. So if you really want to become good at this thing, you need to study. Okay, study. I've given you the hacks. The moment you keep on studying, you're going to get better illustration. Alright, so that being said, I think we are done with this multiple time frame analysis. I hope to see you succeed. Alright, so cheers.